Hello, BookTube. I've had it recently pointed out to me a few times that March marks my 1 year anniversary on BookTube. And it's been giving me a lot of thought. I've been reflecting on that year quite a bit. Uh, Trying to think what to do. There are a whole bunch of ideas that I have, but the first thing I wanted to do anyway was to make a video about it. It seems like the natural thing to do if you're a booktuber, and I am a booktuber. Uh, and just reflect for a bit on what a weird process it's been. I think most booktubers don't have a process like the one I went through. They start their channel, and it grows organically and gradually, and sooner or later they have a nice, healthy following of nice followers. And in my case, that didn't happen. I was encouraged to do this for years by Chris Rhodes. After I'd left many comments on his own BookTube channel. And then later, I was encouraged by Chris and his girlfriend and then his wife, Giselle, that it was something I could actually do. That instead of just thinking about it, I actually could do it. And they seeded the ground with a video on their own channel that had such a marvelously warm response to it, that by the time I actually posted a video on my own BookTube channel, I already had 60 subscribers, 70 subscribers, something like that, which is a goal that some channels strive for. That was odd in its own right, that I had a cushion starting out of people who were already interested in what I wanted to say. And all of the questions and doubts that I had about the technical side of things turned out not to be grounded. It turns out, I remember distinctly the afternoon where I thought, well, you've watched all the videos, all the instructional stuff. You've thought about this a long time. You've noodled around on your phone. It has a camera. Turn it on yourself and hit record. If you don't like the results, no one ever has to know about it. And it felt far more natural than I thought it would feel. So I started posting videos, and they started getting wonderful response, thoughtful reader responses. And everything was going just fine for a little while there. And then I made an off-the-cuff comment to another comment in the comments section of one of my videos. And someone took that comment out of context and fed it to a so-called big booktuber, a booktuber with many thousands of subscribers. And she, without examining it, without contacting me, without doing anything like that, slapped it onto her social media. There are tens of thousands of followers on social media. With the tagline, "Everyday sexism, y'all." And she wasn't content with doing that and then moving on to the next person that she wanted to smear. Instead, she spent the better part of a whole weekend stirring the pot. She didn't just put that up there and attack the character of someone she knew nothing at all about. But instead, she put it up there and then kept leaving comments for her followers saying, "Come on, guys, who's going to do something about this? Come on, guys, who's going to make a response to this? Come on, guys, don't let this sit there. Come on, guys." And I eventually ended up seeing it all and was horrified that someone whose videos I had watched and liked, someone whose videos I'd commented on in a friendly way, would go right past confusion or upset or contact or discussion, all the things that BookTube builds itself on, a welcoming community of discussion and balance. It went straight to mob attacks. And I was astonished by it all and printed it all out, the whole kit and caboodle of it, and brought it to an old friend of mine who's a rather aggressive trial lawyer here in Boston, who has 2 teenage daughters who spend more time on social media than he would like. And he sat there behind his desk while I looked at the paintings on his walls and just read through it all. And when he was done, he just sort of fixed me across the desk and said, if any one of these tens of thousands of people that she's talking to, her followers, if even one of them sends you anything physical in the mail, anything at all, even a get well soon card, I want you to handle it by its edges, put it in a plastic bag, and bring it to me. And I will go after her in federal court. I won't go after the person who sent it. I'll go after the person who has this kind of power and doesn't give a crap how she uses it. I got the distinct impression from the glint in his eye that he wanted to make an example of this person, that he wanted to make new law. Now, we've all seen what social media is like, even in the placid backwater of BookTube. We've seen the power that some people can have, and you have to agree that it's a disaster waiting to happen. And I thought about it, and then I thought, I don't want... I have loved this thing. I have watched it. I've watched all these people and loved their channels. I've had fun in their comments field. I've taken some of their suggestions. I don't want the first time I dip my toe in this water to be a court case with depositions and physical evidence. Now, I didn't take my friend up on any kind of offer. I didn't get anything in the mail. And I didn't take him up on any kind of offer. Instead, I just thought, for the course of one miserable afternoon, well, it's not for me. This is exactly what I had been warned about. This is a bunch of people who, are varying degrees and for varying reasons too immature for real conversation. They're everyday sexism, y'all, to tens of thousands of people who've never met me, to score some sort of what? Cheap social justice points? I looked at the whole thing that miserable afternoon. I remember walking around Boston thinking, well, I dreamed that this would be fun. Chris and Giselle make it look like fun. A whole bunch of other people make it look like fun. But some of the people who were attacking me were people that I had been in contact with, email contact with, friendly contact with, the kind of thing where you would expect from them at a bare minimum a private email saying, boy, that was a dumb thing to say, wasn't it? Or, hey, what's going on here? Or, boy, it looks like I misjudged you. Can you explain this? Anything like that. Any of the kind of reading and context that BookTube bills itself for. I didn't get any of that. Instead, I got these same people immediately going on the attack. Some I've never met face to face. One comment out of, by then a dozen videos. And I walked around Boston thinking all this and thinking, no, you've seen what other parts of social media are like. Unfortunately, it turns out that behind the scenes, BookTube is the same way. A snake pit. Not worth your time. You're not like a lot of these people on BookTube who don't have anybody to talk books with. You're actually lucky enough to have people to talk books with. So, as fun as it might have looked on the surface, you'll just have to let it go. And then, sorry for the internal monologue narration here. I promise I won't make another video like this until next year at this time. Then I decided I had a reflexive reaction to the idea of quitting that I guess comes with being a booktuber, because it's a reaction I've had to many things since then. And that reaction was, make a video. Don't just make a decision about this. Make a video about it. I guess you all must feel that to one degree or another. It starts to become natural. I don't know. One way or another. I actually did. I made a video in which I laid out what had happened. And I confess, looking back at that video, it's pretty obvious that I didn't do a very good job hiding how disappointed I was. Not just with the booktuber who tried, for idle entertainment in an afternoon, to ruin the life of someone she'd never met, but also to all the people who joined in and were continuing to join in. I confess, looking back at that video, I didn't do a good job hiding my disappointment. And in that video, I said what I would like to do is just go back to making videos about books. And that if dawn comes and it looks like that's not possible, well, then that's not possible. And if it is, great. And I posted that video with actual butterflies in my stomach. I posted that video not knowing at all how things would go. Would I get an avalanche of the kind of hate response that I was getting on social media, or would I get a tepid kind of, well, you abused our trust once, but let's see how you do, that sort of thing. I had no idea what would happen. And what happened was one of the most wonderful things that's happened to me in recent memory. And it hasn't stopped happening. What happened was a wave of support. Dozens and dozens of you leaving comments, emailing me personally, in one particular case, insisting on a phone call, and telling me, don't be discouraged. This is not the best of BookTube. This is a freakish overreaction from people who get off on the power of being able to provoke freakish overreactions. This isn't us. This isn't what you can expect. Keep going, I guess, was the stereotypical, greeting card sentiment involved. And it was tremendously uplifting. It touched me. It really did. That in so short a time, and with such a strong witch hunt going on against me, already a fairly tenacious community had developed that just wanted to talk. It was perfectly okay with a malapropism or a bad line or a stupid sentiment. A community in which we could disagree, in which I could say something foolish and then take a few videos to realize that and then say, boy, wasn't that foolish? Instead of the reaction that did happen, which was censure, slander, outrage, and an attempt to destroy someone. I was told by dozens of you, that's not us. We like what you're doing. Anybody can say something foolish. Let's just keep going. And that has been my experience with BookTube ever since. That has been my experience with BookTube for the better part of a year. This wonderful feeling, which has only grown as more of you have paid me the compliment of subscribing, of joining this conversation. I have gotten hundreds of new people to mail books to, hundreds of people to be mentally shopping for when I'm seeing the piles of new books and used books that I see every day. All of a sudden, the mental list that I had of, these dozen people, I know so-and-so doesn't read much, but is interested in books about octopuses, that sort of thing. All of a sudden, that mental list blossomed enormously, blossomed 100-fold. All of a sudden, I had people all over the world wanting to talk books, wanting to receive books, wanting to, even send me books. So I've been successful so far in discouraging most of that. Just an amazing living book community. People that I could sass with, people that I could joke with, people that I could argue with, people I could seriously disagree with, and then, go right back to talking about books. People I could learn from. All sorts of suggestions, all sorts of new avenues for reading and enthusiasm and sarcasm. And I tell you, it wiped away the dirty, soiled feeling of that afternoon walking around in Boston. Wiped it away completely. Wiped it away completely. The wise heads, the three wise people who told me, this isn't us. Trust in the process. This can be better. They were right. They were resoundingly right. And now it's a living part of my life. When on the rare occasions when a day happens that I know I can look ahead of time and see, now it's not going to be possible. I'm not going to be able to make a video today. It's just not going to happen. I've got a guest. I've got one of the dogs is particularly bad, needs lots of help. Something like that happens, or in two cases in that year where I was simply feeling too sick. Didn't want to get in front of a camera when I was distractingly sick. On those days when I knew that wasn't going to happen, there's a genuine weight of sadness. It's oh no, I want to talk to my lame ass BookTube friends, as one of my friends here put it. And for that process is now what I think of when I think of BookTube. I don't think in this this large community, large, it's a tiny community in terms of BookTube, but I've had a taste of what the larger BookTube community is like, and I gotta say, it didn't impress. So I'm perfectly happy with this community here. And in this community here, with only one or two wildly freakish exceptions that I can think of, there's nothing we can't say to each other. There's nothing that we can't disagree with. There's nothing we can't. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is the virtual reality equivalent of having a big room full of people that you can talk books with all the time. That must be its appeal to the rest of you. And it's certainly the appeal to me. And so now, at the end of a year, I can't imagine not doing this. The only thing that will stop me will be the death of my basset hound, Lucy. But she's going strong today. And aside from that, I look forward to it. I really do. And half of the process of it now isn't even on BookTube. Half the process of it now is in emails. Long, ongoing email conversations with 100 people. Stacks of books on my mailing platform out in the desk. That, as the book packages mail up, as I get them ready to go out, stacks of them every week, lugging them to the post office and sending them off to all parts of the world. Now, that's what I think of when I think of BookTube. Just an amazing good that has been added to my life. And that's the gist of what I wanted to say at a 1-year anniversary on BookTube. The gist of what I wanted to say was to thank you all for that. It's been amazing. It really has. It isn't what I was expecting. I don't know quite what I was expecting. I was expecting a couple of dozen subscribers at the absolute most, and no real interaction. No living interaction. No friendships. And instead, that's what I have. And I can't thank you enough for it. So I'm gonna stop with the treacle for now. I just wanted to. It felt natural to make a video at the 1-year mark, and comment on the fact that I had a bit of a trial by fire to get here, and that I'm very glad I stuck around. So we'll go back to tedious Grandpa Simpson stories next time. I just wanted to stop and thank you all. That's all. It's a great thing you've given me, and I'm going to continue to try to deserve it. And I'll see you soon, BookTube. Thank you.